And I know from skating, you can be the champion, but you're only as good as your last performance. And you've got to get back on the skates and work on your new routine.
So the big question is this: how can small business owners like us in the floral industry overcome the greed of order gatherers and bypass the deceitful games played by wire services? How do we market, sell, and deliver flowers online so we may break free from these antiquated practices and earn our freedom? Those are some of the questions we will answer on this podcast. I'm Joe Vega. Welcome to Flower Shop Secrets. Watch now on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for new episodes. What's up, everybody? This is Joe Vega, and welcome to another Flower Shop Secret podcast. And today, we have a wonderful guest. His name is Jay Crouch from Splash Floral and Event Design in Midland, Ontario. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing great, Joe. Good to be here.
We've learned so much from you thus far in the pre-interview, so I'm glad you're on board. Just right off the board, I would like to ask you, how much revenue did your shop generate last year?
Last year, our shop during COVID, opened for 8 months, we generated 140,000. We were closed for 4 solid months and we opened back up in August, and it's been a steady climb. We've been operating skeleton. So to reach those numbers during COVID is huge. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And Valentine's Day was absolutely fabulous. I always can sell more, but we were operating with just 3 people in the shop, and it was pretty hectic, pretty crazy, but we made it, and there was no major glitches. So we're happy with those numbers. However, with the event division, we had $500,000 on our books before for the 2020 year, and we lost almost all of it due to COVID. So, but you know what? Our government here in Canada is just been phenomenal. We have rent subsidy, we have wage subsidies, we had what they called a CEBA loan that was offered to Canadians who want to apply. It's an interest-free loan that you don't have to start paying it back until January 1st, 2023, and they're forgiving $20,000 of that loan. So our government has made it possible for us to flourish, because florists were allowed to be open in Canada, but there's a lot of businesses that haven't been open, and they just started opening up on this past Tuesday. Unfortunately, I feel that it's going to be a lockdown again coming very shortly, because the COVID is just spreading. It's just rampant, and we're prepared for that as well. So our numbers, although we'd like them back up to where we were before, but we did that well during COVID. So we're really happy. We didn't incur any more debt. We paid off debt, actually, and we're in a really good position as we begin to celebrate our 5th anniversary. So we have a lot of hope, a lot of optimism, and we have so much to look forward to.
It sounds like you adapted pretty nicely.
I did. And I followed my heart, Joe. I've done this all my life in the industry. Even before I got into retail flowers, I follow my heart. I just believe in what I'm doing. Sometimes I've made mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes and I've grown stronger from them, but I have adapted, I've evolved, and I'm going to toot myself here for a little second. There's an online platform that brings business people together called Alignable, and I believe they're based out of Boston. And I was voted Business Person of the Year for 2021, and how I evolved during the pandemic. And it's voted by our peers.
Wow.
And our chapter, there's 86,000 members across USA and Canada. And our chapter, for lack of better words, our chapter here has approximately 400 members, and the members voted me as Business Person of the Year. I'm gobsmacked. Just
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I've evolved, adapted, and also outside of the floral business with the event division, we did some events in the summertime at the drive-in theaters. And that was something that was great. And we donated a portion of the proceeds to the hospital, different hospitals in Ontario, 3 hospitals we donated to, because we traveled to 3 different drive-ins. So yes, we're still adapting and evolving, and we have so much more to share.
I think your personality has a lot to do with it. Could you tell everyone a little bit of your backstory?
I have a really interesting life, a really interesting journey. I was a competitive roller skater, a roller dancer from the age of 12 to 30. And figure roller skating is the same as ice skating, which is huge in the Northern Hemisphere, whereas roller skating, artistic roller skating, is huge in the Southern Hemisphere. The skating for me was where my foundation started, my work ethic started. I didn't realize that when I was going through it. I share this a lot, how I got to where I am today. It was the years of skating and the incredible training and the hard work and the opportunity to travel the world and compete around the world and cultures and meeting people from around the world. It's been so beneficial. And I really feel that it is who I am today is because I had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people. I didn't have a family support system. I went through all that bad stuff growing up because I'm openly gay. And back in the day, it was not cool. It's gotten so much better. But I had a father who I was the youngest of five children, and he just wasn't having it with me. Rest in peace. And I did it on my own. I did it on my own. I had my coaches with me, and I'm so grateful for it. And moving forward to where we are today with the industry, the event industry and the floral industry, I conquered this with my own money. I conquered it with my own vision and asked a lot of questions along the way. So post skating, getting out of skating, it was within 2 to 3 years that I was starting to do events. And that was 25 years ago. And I took a break from events after winning Best Fundraising Event of the Year for Canada. That was an event in Toronto, Bloor Street Entertains, which is a very high profile event. And I was the artistic director for 3 years. And in 2004, we won Best Fundraising Event of the Year. And that's when I started dabbling in flowers. And after I won the award, I did a television show, Rich Bride, Poor Bride. I did one episode, but I was, I wasn't interested because I need to take a time out. So I took a time out in 2006. I moved from Toronto back to where I am now, Midland. I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from Toronto, but I did move here at one point and then moved back. And I moved back to Toronto to get my event business off the ground. When I got off the ground, I came back to Midland. I didn't think I was going to stay here. That was 2006. And I heard rumblings of a cultural center being built that had an event center in it. And long story short, in 2012, I launched Splash Events. And then in 2015, I incorporated Splash Events Incorporated and opened up the flower shop at the end of 2015. I had a lot of people asking to open up a flower shop because they loved my event flowers. And I said, okay. And I had someone that I was opening up the event shop that had years of experience in the floral industry. Her family had a florist here in Midland. And just before I was about to open, it all fell apart and I didn't have her. So I was already in a lease, already in a contract, and about to open up a flower shop. I was green. Or green, I guess the right word. I'm not sure. I was blind to what was going on. And my dear, dear, dear friend who has been working with me on event business, her name's Carol. And she was working at a flower shop just in the town next to us. And Carol was also working with me, setting up events and, doing the grunt work and cleaning vessels and votives and learning the biz. Well, Carol came to work with me at Splash, and she's been with me ever since. And when she came to me, I'll never forget it. It was like a deer in the headlight when I said to her, and I don't want to cry when I say it, but we were in the studio and an order came in, and I handed the order to her, and I said, "Here, you're going to do this, Carol." And she's like, "What? I'm going to design?" And I said, "Yes, you're going to design because I know you've got it. You can do it." And she said, "I was never allowed to design before." And I said, "Well, with me, you're going to design." Joe, Carol has excelled so much in the industry. She is instrumental in the development of Splash Floral. She has been nominated for awards. She's nominated right now for another award. She hasn't had any formal training, and she has taught me and my partner Will the things that we didn't know, and vice versa. We've shared and taught Carol the things that she didn't know about the event side of the business. However, we're growing even more, and it's just exploded. So I could go on about the journey, but I think that is like the gist of it, Joe, is as I hope you and our viewers capture it. It's believing and making it happen, and just respect and treat people, and don't be bitter, don't be nasty, get through it. And that's how I've gotten through it, because we've been a team and we've worked together. And now we're just on borderlining of being the best floral design company in all of our region. We've got a ways to go, but we're getting really close, and we hear it. We hear it. And what we hear often is, my gosh, you have the most beautiful floral designs. Your flowers are lasting 2 to 3 weeks, and you're the kindest people. Some of our reviews on Lovingly, that they're the kindest people, and that just brings me joy, because all the hurdles that I've gotten over, I've always stayed true to myself and been kind and never hurt anybody, because I was hurt so much growing up and being bullied. I never want to be like that, and it's all coming home now, and we're so grateful. We're so grateful. And today we received our 100th order from Lovingly, and I said last night to my partner, Will, wouldn't it be great if we got our 100th order on the day that we're doing the podcast with Joe? And sure enough, it came in about a half an hour ago. And I said, I can't wait for it to be our 1,000th. And I can't wait for 10,000th. And I can't wait for the future and what it holds for us. It's going to be spectacular.
That sounds great. What a coincidence, right?
What a coincidence. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow, what an amazing story. It seems like your high intense training has a lot to do with your work ethic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am a big part of who I am today is because of working with Mary Jane Stong for 5 years, and the sports psychologists and the ballet teachers and the ballroom dance teachers, and the network of people that just gave me the attention and the nourishment that I needed. And this is what's rolled over into the success of my career as being a creator of moments, because I'm a moment maker.
That's right. I love that. I absolutely love that.
Proud to be, proud to be. And Joe, I want to share something else with you. On our last Zoom meeting that we had the very first time that we met,
Hmm.
and you said to me, they're not your competition. The flower shop down the street is not your competition. That resonated with me. But on Tuesday, I reached out and I did a social post, and it was just thanking the community at large and all the people for the support. And I gave a shout out to all the florists and the floral shops in our region. I said, I wanted to let the florists know that we're stronger together and we need to work together. And I was very proud of that moment, because nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever given a shout out to the other floral shops in your town that I know of, right? And I wanted to make sure that I am the person that did that. And it stems from you, Joe, from our first time together, as you gave me that little kick in the ass to work together. And I truly believe that, because when I was training, you work together. We're stronger together. We're stronger together to beat down the order gatherers or the grocery store flowers that die in a day. Like, we need to take control of our industry. And I want to be a part of that. And thank
That
you. Thank you,
Oh
Joe.
no, thank you for actually putting use to that advice, because we are stronger together.
I'm really hoping that the other flower shops realize that, wow, we have a good thing going on here and we can make it even better. And we're working together. And that goes with all businesses, though. I feel it's our time. It's our moment. We're now recognized and connected with everyone who we need to be. And it's not just about building our floral industry up. It's about building our community up and having the best darn downtown vibrant business that we could possibly have. If I'm going to work with our community, I'm going to start by reaching out to the florists and letting them know that we're all in this together and we're not each other's competitor. We're each other's partner.
That's right. Full florists started this entire industry, and it's definitely your industry. It's not the wire service industry. It's not the technology companies industry. It's definitely not the order gatherers industry. It is the local florist industry. And I think the thing that would help the most is if florists stick together.
A lot of this has stemmed from the pandemic and joining Lovingly, to be honest with you, Joe, because I was a couple of times over the past 5 years, I'm like, I can't do this. This is like not working for me. These order gatherers are crushing it and they're killing me. And then when I was introduced to Lovingly, things just started changing. And it's not just because of Lovingly, I know that, but it's a big part. and a key instrument, a key tool in the floral division of my company that we're moving forward. And it's endless what's going on, Joe. So I'm a big voice for Lovingly, and I'm just so proud. And all the cards are all lining up. And I know from skating, you can be the champion, but you're only as good as your last performance. And you've got to get back on the skates and work on your new routine. So for us, we're starting now on our Mother's Day designs. We're getting ready. We're preparing. So I'm going on, but I'm sharing. I want you to know my story, and I want our listeners and our viewers to hear my story, because I know I'm not the only one. We all have our struggles, and I want to be that voice that inspires and encourages our other fellow florists to dig deep, and we can get through this, right? We can get through it.
Absolutely. And I love it. I can't get enough. You got the more you talk, the better it is. Don't worry about it. Like, I just love hearing these stories. They're amazing. I do have to ask you though, what part of your work brings you the most joy? Meaning, like, what gets you out of bed every single morning? What's the one thing that you like, oh, you get out of bed and you're like, let's do this?
That's a loaded question, because it's there's so many reasons. I love making people smile. I think that's why I get out of bed, because I know that what the brand that I have created, I have developed with my team, we're putting smile on people's faces. I love to entertain, right? I've been an entertainer all my life, and entertaining through a floral design, or entertaining through a backdrop, or entertaining, that's what gets me out of bed every day, to know that I'm so very grateful. I'm so very grateful, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I want to hear people call. I want to see those reviews. We got a 4-star review on Lovingly. Oh my God, I was devastated. I was devastated. And what happened is the order came in and we couldn't do the order that day. So what I do, I just don't ignore it. Like, I'm not going to ignore it. I telephoned the customer, and I said, I'm sorry, we won't be able to deliver today, but we will be able to deliver it on Monday. If there's any problem, please let us know. We had already delivered to this address. It was a sympathy flowers. And I thought everything was good. And then she wrote down, and she hid it. The customer hid it. She's hid it from everyone to see. But she said, oh, the flowers were beautiful, but I ordered them to be delivered on Friday and they weren't delivered until Monday. Like, but I called you to let you know that I wasn't able to do that. And all respect, she doesn't understand how a small business relies on reviews. Not rely on review, but reviews are big, right? Reviews are big. And I know that a 4.9 out of 5 isn't anything to boohoo about. But at the end of the day, I loved, I guess, getting out of bed, because I want to be better than I was the day before. Right?
Right.
You're only as good as your last floral arrangement. And getting out of bed to design and be alive and grateful and flowers, and I hope that answers your question.
It does. It totally does.
Okay.
One of the ways you should think about it this way, actually. An average review rating of 4.7, 4.8, 4.9 is actually better than a 5.0 rating. The world knows, people know no one's perfect. If you have a 5.0 rating, average rating, it just screams fake reviews, or that's untrustworthy, because it's like, wait, you're perfect? Like, people sort of like raise their eyebrows. So a 4 point, anything between a 4.5 and a 4.9 is where you want to be,
Okay.
actually. So
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about it. It's all good.
It's years of skating though, because when they hold up, the old days, 5.0, 5.0, 5.0 is like, oh my God, right?
Well,
Didn't happen all the time. So you put it into perspective for me, Joe. I've heard what you said. Okay.
I could see that, with the flashcards, right? Like,
Yeah.
totally. So how do you keep it all together? I mean, you have a million things going on, like, how do you keep it all together and flowing while operating your business?
I get that question a lot. And I have all through my career. How do you keep it together? And I think it's what I experienced growing up, and the bullying. It was profound. I mean, bullied. I was bullied into my 30s. I still get bullied every now and then, but in my developing years, in my teen years, in my early 20s, I was bullied a lot, and I never cried. I never went home and cried to my mother. I was in high school in grade 7, and that's when the bullying really got bad. And I would sneak in at 5 to 9 because I didn't wanna see anybody because they'd push me into the lockers. So, I think that all that bullying is what gave me the strength to be where I am now. So what keeps me going and what keeps driving me is I never want anyone to feel the way I felt. I want to bring joy and happiness every time, every day out. That is what I am here on this earth to do. And the recognition in the past couple years, it's a testament of I'm doing the right thing. Nobody told me how to do it. I didn't have a manual. And I was asked a question back in the 90s when I was working out west. I did a big charity event, one of my big first charity events, and I was being interviewed on the national television network. And they said, "How are you making this happen?" And I didn't know how to answer. I said, "I follow my heart." And really, that's what I did. I was always creating, Joe. I'd be creating at home. I was building homes. I wanted to be an architect, so I was building little model homes and always creating, and that was my safe place. Whenever I was in my creative mode, I was in my safe place because nobody's around and nobody's going to smack me up the side of the head. And I was creating, and that's what's stemmed with Splash is it's been my outlet to create. Now I make money at it. Wow. I don't take that for granted. That is a gift and I'm cherishing it. And trust me, Joe, I've been through the past 5 years have been emotionally a really rough patch, but I've made it through. I lost my mom 3 years ago, February 11th, and I posted on social media for the first time ever about losing my mom and what it meant. And my mom was my biggest fan, but she didn't become my biggest fan until after my dad died. And
Mm.
when my dad died, my mom and I became very close. And I had her for 10 years of my life. And she used to come to Midland all the time. And she came to events and she was a great supporter. But after my dad died, I never saw my dad for 5 years before he died because I was like out of there. It's like, if you're not going to love me, I'm going on. I don't need this. Right. And my mom said to me 2 days after my dad died, she said, "Can I talk to you for a second?" I said, "Yes, Mom." She said, "I want to apologize." And I said, "For what?" She said, "I wasn't there for you." And just her saying that, the acknowledgement that, oh my God, I'm okay. There's a reason why I didn't have my mom at World Championships. There's a reason why I didn't have any family members. There's a reason for it. That was a real turning point. I shared that story on social media and it gives me strength to keep on going every day. Just keep on going. So what gets me motivated? It's my experiences in life that I'm a creator, I'm a designer, and I bring joy and happiness to people because I don't want anybody ever to be sad. I know we get sad. I know we have down days, but I've made it through and I'm going to get a little bit more personal right now, but I really want my message to get out there. A year after my mother passed away, I was loading up the vehicle to deliver some flowers and my lovely neighbor, she's a therapist, and she said, "Hey Jay, how you doing?" And I broke down. I broke down. I don't know where it came from, Joe. I have no idea where it came from. I just broke down and Chantel just grabbed me and she said, "Okay, we need to talk." She couldn't work with me professionally because we had a personal relationship. So she was being a
Mm.
friend and she said, "I'm going to get you some help. I'm going to get you what you need." And she got me in to speak with a psychiatrist within a few weeks, a Toronto psychiatrist, which is really difficult. It's a wait list is incredible. She got me in and I was diagnosed with PTSD. And it was the bullying. And it started when I was 5 years of age. And it all makes sense. It all made sense. When I was diagnosed with PTSD, it was like, oh, well, for cripe's sakes, that's what it's all about. Okay, now I can heal. But it wasn't until after my mom died. And then my brothers, my older brother, who's always been supportive of me, but he lives on the other side of the country and he's 10 years older than me. We've really, we've had the opportunity to share our experiences growing up. And he said that, yeah, we didn't know what to do with you because you were a freak. And that's what I was called back then. it's behind me now. And another reason why sharing the gift of flowers, being able to hand someone a beautiful floral arrangement with great packaging and then receive a phone call that, oh my God, the flowers are beautiful. I've never had anything like this before. And oh my gosh, it's been 2 weeks. The damn things are still alive, right? And it's like, what do you do? It's like, I can't tell you what we do to our flowers because that'll be a secret, right? But I nurture the flowers when they come into the shop. I'm
Mhm.
diligent about it because it's just one of the traits that I had to do growing up. I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but I had to make sure I was going to be okay because I was alone for the most part of my life. And people are shocked when they hear that. It's like, wow, you're a champion. You're going here, you're going there. It's like, yeah, even the Canadian team, like a couple of times I flew to world championships overseas by myself. I didn't even fly with the team because back in the 80s, they were like embarrassed for me to be around, and I'm the national champion. So
Mm.
I've been through so much and never whined. I never cried. I didn't. I've never whined. I've never cried. But the past 3 years since the diagnosis of PTSD, and I'm not on any medication, I didn't take any medication. I don't need, they tried, I tried it. I was like, I don't want it. And I'm doing phenomenal. And since I started sharing my story, and I haven't shared a lot of it. This is the first time I've said it on a camera, okay? But I've shared it a few times in small group environments, and I receive a phone call a month later or a week later or a text message and just thanking me for the story because it's really helped them. And I think another reason why I get out of bed every day, what keeps me going, I have so much to get out of bed for. It isn't just one thing, Joe. I have so much to get out of bed for. And this moment here right now with you and sharing my story, it's going to reach somebody. It's going to help somebody. And we can't be a victim. We have to be a survivor. And how we relate that with small business and being a flower shop owner, we need to communicate. We don't need to share our deepest personal secrets. That's not what I'm saying. If you feel like you want to, great. But I think that we're going to be a stronger world, a stronger community, a stronger industry if we work together and don't judge each other and get rid of the hatred. There is an H in flowers that has anything to do with hatred. It's all about sharing the love. And I'm grateful that I get to do that every day. And I'm grateful that I'm alive to share this story with you. And I feel like it's only just begun. I'm going to be 60 years old in 10 months.
Wow, you do not look 59 at all.
I don't feel it. I don't feel it at all. I feel I have so much more to give, right? So much more to give. People at 60, they think, oh my gosh, it's time for you to move on. For me, because I've had so much adversity growing up and suffering and living in silence, I've come out on the other end and I've survived it. And it's only a number. It's only a number. And I'm just so grateful that I get to share that because there's a lot of people that ageism has affected them. And I don't accept that. Age is only a number and it's what you feel inside. And I mean, flowers, you can be designing flowers until God says it's time to go, right? You can, right? That's for sure. What gets me moving every day? I think you're beginning to understand. I've got a lot of reasons to get out of bed every morning.
Absolutely. I need to ask you this question. So where do you see Splash Floor Design in 3 years?
All over our region. We want to expand and we want to be sharing our love through flowers to the whole region. We want to have a few vehicles on the road. We want to be the go-to. We want to develop a big, huge network where people buy flowers from a florist. And in 3 years' time, we need to be prepared for when the pandemic is over, because we have a lot of weddings and events that are going to be racking up. So where I see us as being the best we can be and expanding our network.
Fantastic. Jay, you are so inspirational, I got to tell you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank
Uh,
you. So are you. You are.
Thank
You
you.
are.
Well, listen, we could talk for hours, and you know what? We should definitely do this again. Like, we need a part two,
Okay.
definitely.
I'd
Uh,
love that.
well, thank you so much for joining me, Jay Crouch from Splash Floral and Event Design in Midland, Ontario. Jay, where can people find you online?
Splashflorals.com and also splashevents.ca. or on Facebook, Splash Floral and Event Design, on Instagram, and stay tuned because we have more platforms about to be released in the coming months as we grow and celebrate our 5th anniversary.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward. This is not the last. We're
Great.
definitely doing this again.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Have a great day. Have a fabulous weekend. And I'm enjoying getting to know the Lovingly team. It's been great. Really good.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thanks,
great
you're
day.
welcome.
Take
You too.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We want to help your business bloom. Check out more episodes of Flower Shop Secrets. Watch now on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for new episodes.